Scottie Montgomery. ECU is 1-1. The Pirates played Saturday against North Carolina. ECU won the game 41-19. ECU is on the road for the first time this Saturday. They're at Virginia Tech. The game will be at 12:20 p.m. Eastern Time and will be televised on the ACC network. Coach, thank you for joining us on the call today. If you would take a minute to tie up the win against North Carolina, please. And we expect to see as you head to Blacksburg to face Virginia Tech on Saturday.
Yeah, the thing that we're probably most satisfied with as a team is that it was a team victory. I thought our defense played really, really well, especially in the second half, not surrendering any points. And then our offense went out and did a good job of almost scoring exactly the same as they did in the first half and taking care of the football. I thought we played really, really hard and tough on special teams. And I thought the difference in the game, I thought, was just the effort that our players put in. We executed at a high level, but I just would have to say I thought we played extremely hard this past week. And then moving forward, we're going to one of the best teams in the entire country and looking forward to that challenge as well.
Okay, questions for Coach Montgomery, please. Star 1 on your telephone keypad to join the queue, so the operator will introduce you.
We'll take our first question from Mike Berber from Richmond Times-Dispatch.
Good morning, Scottie. I wanted to ask you about Virginia Tech's defensive ends, Hill and Gaines, 94 and 11. Do they jump out to you? What do you see from those guys?
Speed, quickness, and strength. Both of them they're very similar in the way that they play. They got counters off of their speed rush. They're very effective in the bull when they need to go underneath and they have stunts. They do a great job. We really got to slow those guys down. I've really, really been impressed with them. I know both of them from the recruiting process of seeing them and watching developing. And Coach Foster always does a good job of getting young men and making them much better players. But the biggest thing that you worry about is the speed that they put on you. And they get off the ball so well. And you can try to slow them down with snap counts, but that doesn't really work with them there. So well disciplined when watching that ball that they do a lot of great things. And one of the things that you think about when you think about defensive ends that are as speedy as they are, you don't really talk about how great they are in the run game. Well, here are two guys that are equally as good in the run game as they are in the passing game. And it's the strength of their defense, definitely.
And I know you kind of inherited this series. It is a regional series. Do you like this series with Virginia Tech, and is it something that you'd like to see continued?
I think it's a good series. I mean, we like to play, of course, on a great stage, and this gives us a great chance to play on a great stage. We know that every year Virginia Tech, because of the history that they have there, they're going to be a great football program. But it gives our guys a chance to go in and play on a big stage, and we just want to roll the ball out there with those guys this weekend, and we'll play as hard as we possibly can. And we enjoy the challenge.
Thank you.
We'll take our next question from David Teal from the Daily Press.
Good morning, Coach. Anthony Scott is from our area here in the Hampton Roads. I'm wondering, was there a time where you thought that he might not make it back, and now that he is, what does he bring to your team?
I never give up on our players. I never give up on our student athletes. It's just the process of what you have to go through sometimes to be able to get back onto the field that sometimes scares me. I mean, he had to do a lot to get back. He did all that, and in the process it made him stronger, both physically and mentally. It also made him understand that each opportunity he has to play is not about the actual play, but it's about being able to spend more time with the people that are in the locker room, so it's made him a better teammate. You combine all those things, and it brings back a guy that is not only a speed guy, but can run speed to power, catches the ball well out of the backfield, and is a tremendous teammate. So when you're able to add that kind of an element back to your team, you see, like you've seen this past week, it gives us all a boost. But what you don't see is that he has given our locker room a boost. Our locker room is in a great shape. We talked about that after week one. We couldn't believe how good people were in the locker room after what we had to go through. And then this week, of course, they're in great shape, but we also couldn't believe, how ready they were to work on Sunday and move past the victory that we had. And a lot of that is due to a guy like Anthony Scott understanding that, nothing should be taken for granted. It's a day-by-day deal and getting ready to play and getting ready to go to school and getting ready to be a great teammate. You have to do it right every single day. So that's what he brings to us.
has his experience and maturity made him a more vocal, forceful leader? You talked about his locker room presence.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only in the locker room, but on the field. You know, our Tuesdays, our Wednesdays, our Thursdays, our Fridays. A lot of people talk about Focus Friday. Our Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays are Focus days where, you know, there are no football. If it's not a football conversation on our sideline, then, you know, Anthony is not going to allow that to happen. And it really speaks to how important the game is to Anthony. And because of that, he has, you know, kind of trended toward more vocal, more verbal leadership than he had in the past when it was just based on performance.
Thanks, Scottie.
And moving on, we'll take our next question from Dan Tortora from the wakeupcalldt.com.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well.
To take a look at the in-state versus the Power, I mean, your in-state games against the Power 5 in the ACC, NC State back in 2016, North Carolina recently here this season. Just what you can say about how important these wins are against the Power 5 and just how important they are on the field and in recruiting in-state.
Well, you know, first off, I really thought that, you know, going into this game, it would be impactful in recruiting. And it does have huge impacts in recruiting, but to just talk about the you know, being able to get another win versus a Power 6 and in the ACC, I mean, we've done really well in the American. Now we're 4-0 against the Pac-12 since 2015, 3-1 in the last 4 games against the ACC. I thought we had a great weekend. It was great to see Houston win over Arizona and to see South Florida win over another ACC opponent. But the biggest deal is it gives us a recruiting platform right here in the state. We played a lot against a lot of guys yesterday that were, or Saturday, that were 4-star guys, that, you know, 3-star guys from our state. We get that recognition now, being able to go on the field and compete with a team like UNC. And we thought our guys played with a chip and played with an edge. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
And you had made mention, you said Power 6, and that's obviously something I know this conference has worked on, expanding the Power 5 to a Power 6. You said 4-0 against the Pac-12, 3-1 recently against the ACC. Just what you could say about not only East Carolina, but the conversation as a whole, is the games that you are winning out of conference and the games that this entire conference is winning out of conference deserve a little bit more respect. Just what you can say about that.
I mean, you know, we just got to continue to put together a good product on the field. I think that our kids deserve it. It's a different brand of football. I think that's why when we play other Power 6 conferences, it's shocking. Sometimes the speed can be a little bit of a shock that we're putting on the field. I think that our body of work, if we continue to grow it, all of us continue to grow it, then, you know, that it won't be a conversation or an argument or a debate. It'll just be part of what it should be, and that's the Power 6. You know, there's a lot of great conferences out here, but this is definitely one of them.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate your time.
Coach, thanks so much for your time today. I look forward to hearing from you again next Monday.